Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday evening Practicing the Presence service. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. Our presider tonight is Reverend Jessica Fish. And thank you for joining us this evening. And we're going to open our service as we do every service here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills by lighting the flames of faith, which is our call to service. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Reverend Jessica lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Jessica lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. Yes, so we'll tonight, in honor of Hanukkah, it's the fourth night of Hanukkah, so we will light the menorah.
So this menorah is actually called a Hanukkah, and when all the candles are lit, this is the worker candle. This is the candle that gets to do the work, because once the candles are lit, you're not supposed to do any work. That's when the children get to play with the dreidel. And let's see if I can do this. Okay, come on. I went to the Hanukkah party at school yesterday. There's this big song they sing, like the candle. All in Hebrew, I did not know it. So, now it's not working.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
So just allowing that energy to just flow through us, knowing that it is energy that is always here. God, love, peace, joy, harmony.
It's 27.
That all of the qualities that are God are right here, right now, flowing through us, as us. That we're one with God. that whether we feel it or not, God is I am. So I declare that this service is this awakening to the spiritual magnificence that we are, that we are already. That this energy that we step into is who and what we are. And with practicing the presence, it becomes easy. It's not a struggle, it's an allowing, it's a welcoming of this which we are, God. And I give great thanks to be at this center at this time. Just to get this little bump in the middle of the week to be in the Center for Spiritual Healing. I know that we're blessed, and I know that we're a blessing. So I release my word into the action of the law from which it came, this creative medium, knowing that it is as we believe. And so we can affirm by saying, and so it is. Thank you, Mike. I know you're really busy trying to manage all of those things back there. So I read in this business journal today that the pursuit of mindfulness has gone mainstream. Wow, that's really funny. I mean, it wasn't a like Science of Mind magazine. It was a business journal. I don't know if it was Forbes, but so this concept of mindfulness has been around for decades. And more companies are becoming aware that they can reap huge benefits by providing employee classes on meditation, by offering the use of a meditation room, and by allowing them to take company time to spend 30 minutes in meditation. And I'm not surprised to hear that Apple and Google are on the meditation train, but there's more traditional companies like Deutsche Bank and Procter & Gamble who promote meditation in the workplace. So it's kind of like what Ernest Holmes was saying, is that this whole movement of awakening to our spiritual magnificence is bigger than anything. Technology is supporting this meditation trend as well. The mindfulness app Buddhify is the #1 health and fitness app in over 40 countries. The Buddhist Geeks, they have a Google Hangout space where you can have up to 10 people together in a video conferencing room, meditating together. Think about that. 10 people together from several different countries and time zones, all in connection in real time and meditation. I happen to use the Insight timer on my phone to time my meditation, and it takes care of that whole thing of, it starts with a bell, and I don't have to watch the clock to know when I want to end my meditation because it ends with a bell. It's fabulous. On my desktop, I use another app called Bell of Mindfulness, and that gives me a visual display every 20 minutes, reminding me at my computer to consciously breathe in and out. Tonight, we're actually live streaming. We're live streaming this Wednesday night service here, and we're live streaming it to our center's YouTube channel. Last week, the day of the shooting in San Bernardino, Mike Carlin was testing out this live streaming, and I was the one that got to benefit on the back end of it. And I got to experience the comfort of connection to everybody who was at the service last Wednesday. I got to hear the flames of faith. I got to hear Sharon sing. Reverend Kathy was opening with treatment and her creative thought. Reverend Mike McMorrow led us into meditation. It really soothed my heart. And it's just so wonderful that all of this technology is just revealing what we already know, that we're all one and that we're all connected. Thank you. So I guess we're going to get to meditate a whole lot today.
Yes. All right, thank you, Jessica, Reverend Jessica. That's great. What I have been contemplating but first I want to comment on mindfulness in the workplace. I come out of, I'm a carpenter by trade. I became a general contractor, but my trade and really my first calling was carpentry. And I think that working people bring mindfulness to their work. I can see where folks who do computer programming or their creativity is expressed in intense mental puzzling. But I noticed early on, even starting out as a laborer, that there was something about paying attention to the way the shovel went into the dirt and this hitting a stone and where to put the dirt and trying to move things once. And then of course working as a carpenter and doing woodworking, there's something very soulful about planing, using sharp tools and planing a piece of wood and getting it to fit. Because you really do have to focus and concentrate to do your job properly. And I think that workers who are mindful bring craftsmanship to the things that they do. And I think they do it intuitively. I don't think I ever knew that that's what I was doing. But when you are really in the zone, you lose track of time. So whether you're shaping a piece of sheet metal, plywood, a board, cutting a piece of meat maybe, just think of all the things that working people do. The ones who do it well and bring a sense of craft to their work, craftsmanship to their work, I think are practicing mindfulness. So, thanks for that. And this is sort of ties in. I've been watching, apparently on Fox News, there were some commentators who got in trouble and were actually released, given a 2-day or a 2-week suspension for using profanity on the air. And it was a very insightful thing for me. So as I said, I came out of construction and profanity is, almost a second language, I suppose. But I appreciate, because I saw these people, they're professionals, and I watched them as they were speaking about, this thing that's got everyone stirred up right now, which is this a lot Islamophobia. And the president's message and how worked up they got, and so they used, in getting worked up, they used profanity on the air. And I have to say, I've never really thought much about profanity. I thought about, using F-bombs and so forth. But when I saw it on television, I saw myself. And I saw a couple things. One, I witnessed the anger escalating, and escalating to such an extent that these people, one of them was like a retired colonel, so he has a lot of training and education. You don't get these jobs without being well educated, and yet the only word they could come up with, and I've been there, was to use, and they were kind of low level profanity, but it was on television, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop doing this. I saw myself. I saw the way that I allow my own emotion to get the better of me. And I have known for some time that profanity is often an indicator of, if profanity is anger, then it's an indicator of oncoming rage if it's not checked. And rage is not good. So I appreciate that these people took the time to do this just for me on international television, to illustrate to me the lack of professionalism that I have when I indulge, right? Because I am wanting to remake this personality so that I can be an open vessel for spirit to do its thing, right? I'm really wanting to open my awareness, to open every aspect of my being in a courageous way and in a vulnerable way, to radiate to the extent that I can, spirit expressing as me. So that when I make such bold proclamations that people can say, yeah, I can kind of see that happening with that guy. But I have to start with the basic stuff. That's what I came to see. Anthony DeMello, I love this little book, The Way to Love, and I was looking for something to read, but it was too lengthy, so I'll just paraphrase it. And he's speaking to encouraging us to get away from the idea of self-improvement. Getting away from self-improvement and instead move towards self-understanding. And so he says, consider the rose. The rose only knows to be a rose. And so when we bring to our practice an openness of self-understanding, what we are really doing is surrendering to the essence, the divine essence that is within us, really longing to express. That essence that when it hears the great teachers, whether it's a Buddha speaking to loving kindness, or the Christ speaking to the ways that we can be the Christ on earth by the practice of love, loving our neighbor, and through our commitment and through prayer, communing with the divine. So these things I have been thinking about this week as I'm searching within my own heart what to do about all this hate being spewed so openly within the discourse of our own United States, and it's kind of hurtful because I love the United States and I love the principles from which it was founded, and a lot of the talk is not in alignment with that. And so that I know that the answer is to bring more love to it. And just like the folks spewing profanity, I know that the answer is to bring more love to it. To bring more love into my own practice, because that's my point of power, is my own life. And in doing that in courageous ways, hopefully encouraging others to do the same, without allowing the ego to be attached to results, or how many are doing it, and if they're doing it right, if we're all doing it together, right? So tonight, I think we'll do a contemplation on divine love. And then I also want to include, when I close it, Marlena and Jen and now Jerry all lost their parents, so we have 3 of our members who lost their parents within the last, one of their parents within the last 10 days, maybe 8 days. And then to also just know perfect health for our friend Arnie, who's a friend of our community. So we'll just get this field of love going through this meditation tonight, and then just know the truth for them. So let's bring the Om and Bros up there, Mike. And we're going to take a deep breath while he's doing that. Release. So again, we're just going to settle in gently. And one of the great practices of mindfulness is the observation of the mind. As Mr. Goenka says, the mind is a very, very busy place. And so we're using the breath right now, this evening, to calm the mind. Breathing easily, breathing naturally. So the first thing we're going to do is just check our seat. Just bring our awareness to our sit bones against the bottom of the chair, and our lower back against the back of the chair, and our feet square to the floor. Bringing our awareness to whether our tailbone is balanced over our sit bones, so that we're sitting comfortably, breathing naturally. So in this gentle breathing, starting from the feet, we just scan the body, scan the legs, I should say. If there's any torquing in the ankles or the knees, we're just releasing. And a technique for that is we can simply breathe into, if we feel a little tension place, we can just breathe into that area. And on the exhale, just mindfully bringing a release in that little tension spot. And then just continuing the scan on all the way up through the sit bones, through the tailbone. Maybe there's a little tension in the lower back. Just tilt your tailbone in a little bit and you can release that. And our tummy, just allowing our tummy to rise and fall easily and gently. Scanning on up the torso. So the chest muscles, the pectoral muscles. Just with each release of the breath, each exhale, just relaxing just a wee bit more. So how are arms doing? Feel any tension, any torquing in the elbows? Again, just breathing into that, releasing. Now we're going to check the shoulders and invite you to take a deep breath with me and hold it at the top, and then we'll just release it after holding it for a bit. So deep breath together, hold it, and then release, and then feel the shoulders, just release, just releasing that burden of the working day. So now from this relaxed state now, as we prepare to move into the silence, we bring our attention to the breath. So what we're mindfully attending to is the movement of the breath in and out of the nostril. That's available. See if you can detect the movement of the breath against the upper lip. And if that's available, see if you can detect any other sensations in the body. Not attaching. Again, breathing to it. And yes, thoughts will come up. Just simply observe them. Call it thinking if you like, and just then release it. Turn back to our attention onto the breath against the nostril again. So this is where we'll hang out for just a bit. Just 7 or 8 minutes or so into the silence. against the nostril. We become aware of our heart center. We open to the possibility that in our heart center is the very essence of divinity itself. And that with our attention, with our awareness, and with our breath, that we are fanning this flame of divinity right now. That each breath is fanning this flame and creating this light, this ball of light within us. That is the essence of Spirit itself. We are allowing this light now to burn away any impurities of thought, any of the ways we think, in ways known or unknown, that we may be hostile, aggravated, judgmental, racist, phobic. And we're allowing the divine itself to just simply obliterate these feelings, these thought patterns, in ways known and unknown. And in this way, we are consciously allowing our hearts to be purified by that pattern of perfection that lies within all sentient beings. So we allow this light now to expand even further with each breath, expanding beyond our chest cavity. Now we're sitting in this globe of divine light, that this room itself, even with just a few of us here tonight, that we've created a field of love, a field of love, a field of love that we offer freely, wanting nothing in return. And so in this field, we know for Marlena and Jen and Jerry and their parents that have gone on before us, and for their families connected, that they are supported right now in this field of love. And in a sense of knowing that the soul is eternal, that it has simply cast off the mortal coil and is now on to the next adventure. And so we see our friends in love, support them, Jerry and Kathy. It's actually Kathy's father. So in this field of love now, we know for our friend, a friend of ours of this center, and John's friend Arnie, that she right now is being held and supported and loved fully and completely. For those here in this center and anyone watching even in the future, that in this field of love, we know that right now her body temple is aligning with the pattern of perfection within. That there is no dis-ease, that we know a full and complete sense of connection with the divine. And within that connection there is the divine pattern. That we know for Arnie that her life is unfolding as divine right action and radiating as the light that Arnie is, the pure heart that Arnie is. And so for this and any other intention that we may be holding in our heart now, we simply launch it now into this field of love, activated by the one law of mind that knows only to say yes. that we know that our life is out picturing as God taking bits of itself to demonstrate this manifest universe, that we co-create this world with Spirit in this moment, and seeing the pattern of perfection in the many demonstrations in all situations in our life, in ways seen and unseen, and even in those cleverly camouflaged places that keep us puzzled, perplexed, flummoxed. We just release any attachment to the outcome of that, knowing that it is all unfolding in divine right action. That we feel the gratitude of taking this moment of communion to sit with the divine. And by sitting with each other, witnessing the divine within all things and within each other. So from this place, from this heart filled of love, and this mind now by means of this meditation filled with light, that we release our intention of good into the law, knowing that in its release we are simply allowing, we're letting go and letting God. So release it now and let it be so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So, if Sharon was here, she'd do a really great song right now. So we'll just know that in our mind. I won't bother singing. And I would just remind us that we do have a lot of things going on right now. So our next big event next week will be the Spiral of Light, where we have the Evergreen Labyrinth, where we light candles and welcome in this holiday season. And that's Chloe's parents, Rosalie and Alex, will be, presenting that. And then the following Sunday, on the 20th, we have our big Christmas-a-looza, where we have a wonderful Christmas program that Ken and the choir are working on. We also, on the Saturday before that, will be of service to the North Valley Caring Service. So if you have unwrapped gifts for an adult that you would like us to take over there, if you can get it over here by a week from Thursday, I'll take it over on Saturday morning. We'll have a sign-up sheet out in Sparks Hall for the shifts will go 9:30 to, there'll be 2-hour shifts starting at 9:30, and we're all done by 3:30, so there's only 3 shifts. So tell your friends, we need bodies. I'll be starting out the first shift. Stephanie and I probably need 3 or 4 more folks for that first shift, and we'll just show up there for these people. So what we do is we wrap gifts for, we help less fortunate children in the North Hills neighborhood select gifts for their parents and then gift wrap them for them so they have something to give them on Christmas. It's very sweet, really sweet. And the Boy Scouts are there, so a gift wrap, Boy Scouts, kids, what else? Pictures. It's wonderful. And it's service. This Sunday? So Healing Support, yes, the second Sunday is Healing Support Group. That's facilitated by Suzanne Jensen and Reverend Jessica. So, lots of good stuff. Check out the calendar, check out the flyer, check out the program. It's all in there. I want to thank Michael Carlin once again for holding down the fort in the back, and for everyone here for joining us here tonight, and for those of you in the future who will be watching this archived meditation and for joining me and allowing me to meditate. So I always appreciate the opportunity to meditate as community. So if you have an offering tonight that you'd like to leave to help support the center, do that in the baskets in the back. And I'm going to invite Reverend Jessica forward. And next week we get to have the Spiral of Light, and then Sharon.
Just resting in this amazing relaxation into the consciousness that is, into the connection that is, whether we always feel it or not, it is. And we have just plumbed the depths of it, cut through all the layers, feeling connected, sending out our loving in all of the directions, north, south, east, west, up, down, and even through the concept of time into the past and the present and the future. That is what we live in. And we have connected with this tonight in such a deep and profound way, just by being, just by allowing the greatness of who and what we are to come through and to just awaken to it. Not creating it, not struggling it, not pushing it, not strong-willing it, just breathing it, allowing it. I am grateful for this experience, and I know that we have changed the planet tonight just by knowing the truth. And we can affirm that by saying, and so it is. Amen. Let the announcement stream if you can. Okay. Yeah. You can put some music on it.